up, guys? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Two Guys in a Comic Book. I'm your host, Mike Pooh, and I'm joined today with Jonathan Shores. Jonathan, how are you?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good to be here. What's going on today, man?
Not a lot. Just trying to survive the heat right now.
Yeah, no, it's pretty hot. Yeah, and it's a super hot day, you know, and I probably shouldn't have worn this black t-shirt, but I gotta support Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
And, you know, as unfortunately Game of Thrones, it's over now. But it was, I don't know.
Unfortunately, Khal Drogo never came back.
Yeah, so I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with my sunbase from now on.
Well, I know. Yeah, it's gonna be empty.
Yeah. So you look like someone from Game of Thrones. I don't know if you ever gotten that.
I have gotten that.
Maybe
before.
once or twice.
Yeah, maybe once or twice. Yeah.
So do you get that or do you get Aquaman?
Okay. Now I get Aquaman more than anything.
Okay.
You know, Khal Drogo's been gone for a while.
Okay.
I looked like this before Aquaman, but nobody cared. But now, especially if it's like a group of kids or something, or, you know, it actually happens anywhere. The double takes just happen. I guess they just have to make sure that he's not at the Wawa or the Target or whatever. But yeah, and then every once in a while a courageous young man or lady will come over and be like, "Are you Aquaman?" And I'm like, "No."
You don't ever say yes?
You know what? I have said yes. I also have a 6-year-old who believes that I'm Aquaman.
Okay.
And so when we go to Target or Walmart or whatever, if there's a toy or a sticker or something, you know, he might be playing me for a sucker, but he's like, "Dad, can we get that?" So if he believes that I'm Aquaman, we're gonna ride that out as long as we can. Yeah.
So let me ask you: do you ever go to a restaurant? Okay, you know, Saturday night, prime time, 8 p.m. Okay, and there's 30 people in front of you. The wait list is this long. Okay, you're with friends. Okay, you're on a date or whatever. You know, and you want to impress who you're with, right? You're like, wow, this is a 2-hour wait. And you go like, you know, hey, watch this. You go to the front. You got a table available?
I've never done it. I've never actually had the idea until now, so I might try that. But no, I have not gotten anything, you know, free just for looking up, unless you're offering.
I don't have a restaurant, but I don't know. Maybe you might go into Denny's one day, and the waiter might come back and say, "Hey, your bill's been taken care of, sir."
That would be fantastic.
Thanks for your contribution. Wink, wink.
That would be fantastic. I did get approached a couple times at Comic-Con.
Okay.
A couple Comic-Cons where people are like, "Are you cosplaying as Aquaman, or are you just you?" Or
no, he's cosplaying as me.
Yeah, right. That's what I should have said. Next time I'll know.
Yeah, so how did you get into the cosplay? You know, the anime, the superhero universe. How did you tell us a little bit about your history with that?
Yeah. I'm a big time comic book fan.
Okay.
I have an older brother who's actually just a best friend, but we've spent our whole lives together. We just call each other brothers. And when I was at his house, which I was every single weekend of our childhood, he one day just broke out all these comic books. Okay. And we used to go to Costco, and they would sell them in these like bundles, 20 comic books for like a couple dollars or whatever. So he would bring them home, and he did this whole thing, and he's going to get mad at me for telling you this, but he did this whole thing where he had like the rubber gloves, like you weren't allowed to touch the comic book.
Yeah.
And so to me, he's a couple years older than me, so to me that was like, oh, this must be very special, very valuable.
Sacred.
Right. So you were only allowed to read them when you had the rubber gloves, so that was a very special thing to break the comic book.
That was pretty intense. That's pretty intense.
Yeah. So it was kind of this elusive thing that I wanted. And then, of course, the 90s, the X-Men cartoon. Yeah. That's where we got.
So let me ask you, so your friends, do they look like you too?
Actually, he looks more like Zach Galifianakis, which you'll also get mad at me for saying, but yeah, he looks exactly like him.
You know, I was thinking, if they were like, I don't know how many guys were you and your friends, but if you were like 3 or 4 or 5 guys, you're a pretty big guy. What are you like, 6'2", 6'3"? Yeah, you're a big muscular guy. So there were like 3 of you guys walking around 6'2", 6'3". You know, you guys look pretty intimidating.
Well, now we would.
Yeah.
But back then we were just scrawny guys. We wouldn't have been intimidating to almost anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you guys were like, if you were 6'3" guys at, I don't know, 225 pounds, you would never have to wait at a restaurant ever again.
Oh, no. I mean, no, we walked around thinking that we looked like that, but yeah, no.
Yeah. So listen, we're gonna go to a quick break, and we'll be right back and more with Jonathan. What's up, guys? We are back once again with AQUAMAN. So, AQUAMAN, I think you could play AQUAMAN. Seriously, yeah. I mean, you could, if not, you could be a stand-in. You could maybe be his evil twin brother for AQUAMAN 2, which you know is coming out. Right?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. You know, one of us, I put the ink on to the paper, okay, to the page. Send it to California or wherever Marvel Studios is. Okay, say, hey, I got a story. Part 2, Evil Brother.
Right? It's not the worst idea.
Okay, so but I mean, you are an actor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So this is something that's not like out of the question.
No, it's something I love to do, and I just came off of filming a short film with a group called Stereoscope Studios. Okay. That's actually based in Baltimore. They had a great little story, and they decided to film part of it, and so that was an awesome opportunity. And so far, that's as close as I've gotten to AQUAMAN. But hey, it's a step.
So what was your look in that movie?
So it's a fantasy horror movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called The Forgotten, and it's just a little piece. It's a short film of a bigger story that the writer wrote, and I get to kind of be the sword fighting, wine drinking, best buddy, and I won't say anymore. But
so they didn't cast you as the doctor?
No, they didn't.
I wonder why. So do you have any future projects coming up, or are you looking more towards sci-fi, or what's your genre?
So right now the genre, fantasy stuff,
okay,
comic book stuff, sci-fi stuff seems to work. Acting is based on your look,
correct,
and then when the talent matches the look, then boom, you're hired for a job.
Okay.
So I try to just kind of, anything that's interesting, I try to put myself in for. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, then you kind of have to have that short-term memory as an actor and move on to the next thing.
So like, what's my look?
Your look?
Yeah. Sushi chef?
I was gonna say like action star. I wasn't
Okay,
gonna go
okay.
sushi.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
So
action star for sure.
what type of action star?
How about a reboot of The Crow?
Okay.
That would be awesome.
Okay, that's nice. Or maybe like a I don't know, a crime-fighting lawyer. No, I'm just kidding.
That's exactly what I get when I first look at you, for sure.
No, I get that a lot. You know,
You
so
look
I
like
don't-
a crime-fighting lawyer.
Yeah, so I gotta change my hairdo or something. I gotta talk to my stylist.
Well, it takes a while to grow hair like this, but you can do it, sure.
Yeah, what about facial hair? I've been waiting a very long time. I think I got a little bit right here, but I don't know.
I see some, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the key to long hair and facial hair is laziness. That's the key.
Okay.
If you don't want to shave, you don't like it, don't do it, and then you can look like Aquaman.
So this entire time, I thought I was using the wrong facial cream. That's why I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
So it's not the facial cream.
No, it's not the facial cream. No,
Okay.
it's just you're putting too much time into it. That's all.
Okay. Mental note. All right. So are you into the comic cons or anime cons? Are you into any of that stuff?
So I like to go, I never did as a kid. I
Okay.
like to go to them now. I really appreciate, as I've gotten older, I really appreciate the art. I really
Okay.
appreciate the collaboration that goes into making something.
Okay.
The artists, then they have inkers, then the writers, and all of those people have to come together to make
Okay.
the comic book. So I really appreciate that. I like to go meet them and kind of pick their brain and have a short
Yeah.
conversation with them. And then of course, when the actors show up, when
Right.
Punisher's there or something, you always like to
Punisher,
meet them.
you mean John Bernthal?
John Bernthal, yeah.
You know he's from Maryland.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a DC area native.
Okay. So
DMV.
a lot of people don't know that, but yeah,
He was quick to remind everybody too. By the way, at Awesome
Yeah,
Con, I
really?
went to meet him, and he was like, I'm from here, right? And they're like,
It's like John Bernthal, Maryland. John Bernthal, Maryland.
not quite like that, but yeah, but pretty close.
Okay. So do you have a couple of favorite creators or artists?
Yeah, definitely. Jim Lee,
Okay.
who you could also go for.
Really?
Maybe the Jim Lee biopic. You could play Jim Lee. Yeah, he was a big one. He was a big one because he kind of started the '90s
Okay.
X-Men launch, and it was his art. And as a kid, I can remember going into the store, and it would be the art
Okay.
that hooked me, not necessarily the name of the book or the story, but if it looked cool to me, I would probably buy it
Right.
and read it. So Jim Lee was a big one. And then Michael Turner, who passed away quite a few years ago now, but his art, he did a lot with Marvel and DC. His art was really influential. I just loved the way it popped off the page. Yeah.
So let me ask you, what's like the major difference between a good artist and a so-so artist?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think the time that they have put into it.
Okay, so it's not just like coloring outside the lines, right?
Right. No. No. But so what always catches my eye is detail.
Okay.
When you can see the amount of detail that they've kind of put into something, you can almost feel how long that took and how much they had to look at it over and over and over.
So one thing I've noticed that, like, for example, let's just say X-Men, okay, the X-Men cartoon. There's been numerous Batman cartoons. It seems like to me, okay, I'm just a regular guy, but it seems to me that some of the cartoons, the illustration, as we're getting, farther or away from what it was in the 90s, the graphics and the illustration, it seems like it's kind of slacking a little bit. Do you feel that way, or is it just a different style?
A little bit, but I think it is mostly
Okay.
stylistic. I think
Okay.
it is just different artists. No two artists are the same. They all
Okay.
come from a different perspective. And so for some people it may pop right away, and for some people it may take a little bit longer to kind of get used to it. But
Okay.
yeah.
No, I always wonder. I was like, what? Like they're like I don't know, like they're slacking or something. I don't know.
Well, you can do so much so quickly now in the advancements of technology and everything that sometimes you want to push it out quicker than the quality always isn't up to par.
Okay.
Sometimes. But
Okay, sounds good. So guys, we'll be right back. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with Jonathan. Hey guys, we're back once again. I'm your host, Mike Pooh. This is Jonathan Shores. So, Jonathan, I got to ask you, okay, real quick, Game of Thrones.
yeah,
Okay, last season.
yeah.
Did you feel that way too?
I felt a little bit. I don't know if disappointed
Okay.
is the right word, because so much work goes into it when you stop and think about the actors and the crew and all of that stuff. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen some. I mean, okay, so no surprise.
Yeah.
Khal Drogo is a favorite character. Sure, I wanted him to come back and kill the Night King and save the day and ride off on a dragon into the sunset. But not realistic. and
Okay.
clearly not what the writers were thinking.
Yeah, it's just that, I don't know, the rumor or the gossip, around town is that it was too fast, right? It was crammed. Maybe they needed to get out. I don't know. So it was crammed and things moved too fast and it just kind of jumped from one thing to another.
Yeah, so I'm not a book reader, admittedly.
Okay.
I've read the books.
Okay.
So all the exposure I had to Game of Thrones was from season 1
Yeah.
all the way to the end. So I didn't have some of those expectations.
Okay.
And I also didn't know I didn't have any clue where we were going.
Okay.
But even that said, it did seem to kind of at the end push because they knew the deadline was coming, they knew the end was coming. We got to finish this story somehow. But maybe contrary to popular belief, I didn't think it was that bad.
Okay. No, I didn't think it was bad at all. There was one episode that it was maybe a little bit hard to see.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you think it was hard? Did you have to turn up your contrast on your TV?
Yeah. So no, I didn't
Okay.
until people started posting online. If you do this, you can actually see what's going on. I thought, there's a lot of symbolism in the show. And I don't know if it's that way in the books, but they used a lot of symbolism in the show. Yeah. And so I think there was a symbolic nature to this is the darkest it's ever going to get. This is the winter that's been coming for 8 seasons or whatever it ended up. And I think it was also very, very realistic.
Yeah.
If you're in a battle in the middle of the night, it's going to be pretty tough to see.
What was funny was that I asked a friend of mine, I was like, hey, did you see that episode last night? It was hard to see. He was like, no. He was like, no, I didn't see it. I said, you didn't see it? No. He's like, I saw it, but I couldn't see it. Just boom.
Yeah. But it had a horror element to it. I mean, oftentimes, some of the best movies and some of the best scary moments of film are when something happens and you don't quite understand exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And so that had that feel to it where you're not 100% sure what's coming.
Yeah. So let me ask you a little more specific at the very end. We had some surprising deaths with some of the main characters. Do you think that kind of moved along a little bit too fast?
Yeah, I think it did. I think it was a little bit unexpected. I know by that point everybody had their theory of what was going to happen and what would make sense. And they threw a little curveball.
Yeah. I just felt like it was rushed, and it was you take I don't know how many years was it? 7 years or?
It was more than that.
It was let's say 10 years, right? To create the story, to create these characters, right? And then the last episode say, okay, all right, you know what? Death touch, you're dead. Death touch, you're dead, and that's how you're gonna go out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And not to say anything bad about the show or in which we're not, but I just I think just like anything else, when you have the stakes this high, it's hard to go higher.
Yeah.
It's hard to go bigger. Right?
Yeah, it's hard to obviously go bigger than what they already done. I mean, they have
Yeah.
seasons of film where they've just broken through planes and
Yeah.
broken through stereotypes and surprised people
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So at some point, it's like, what else can possibly happen?
Yeah.
And George R.R. Martin famously said that he's not a big fan of happy endings.
Yeah.
So it would be no surprise to me if the books are even,
Right.
more so in that lane.
So that's I think it's a great job. It's a great job, but maybe they're coming out with another. I don't know. I heard from someone that they're going to continue this, with the spin-off or something. So maybe, they'll kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say redeem, but they'll have some material for us.
It's possible.
Yeah. So Jonathan, before we go, do you have any last thoughts you want to share with us?
Well, thank you for having me, for one.
Thank you for being here.
And I'm looking forward to it. There's a rumor that, in the comic book context, there's a rumor that X-Men cartoon is kind of being rebooted.
Really?
And I think a lot of people from that generation go right to the X-Men cartoon as a place where they started or really got into comic books. It's the first place you get a voice to some of these characters. It's the first place you get to see some of these stories played out in action, rather than just on the page. So I'm really looking forward to that. If that's true, that's something that I'll check out.
Wow, that's really exciting. So these would be like the original characters, not like the new generation of.
Who knows? Who knows? But I mean, the X-Men is kind of timeless, that's if you want to talk about differences between Marvel and DC sometimes, Marvel has this thing where they're just characters for the most part don't get old. They don't die or stay dead for very long. So it's probably going to be a great mixture of old and new, and it's going to get that old audience and the new audience.
Yeah. Or if they die, they just bring it back to life.
That's right, yeah.
Through some, Marvel way, right?
Yeah, which you usually don't discuss it at all. Now you're just allowed.
Yeah. So, Jonathan, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
You guys, this is Jonathan Shores, and he's also an actor. So, if you guys, DC, if you're making a part 2 Aquaman, this is your guy. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. See you next time on Two Guys in the Comic Book.